If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Ricky Stanicky is a 2024 American comedy film directed by Peter Farrelly. The film stars Zac Efron, Jermaine, Fowler, Anja Santino, Lex Scott Davies, Jeff Ross, William H. Macy, and John Cena. Ricky Stanicky was released in the United States by Amazon MGM Studios via streaming service Prime Video on March 7, 2024. In May 2010, it was reported that James Franco was attached to play the title role of Ricky Stanicky, with a screenplay written by David Occhio and Jason Decker. Jeffrey Bushell and Summit Entertainment were negotiating the finance for the film, and it was to be produced by Michael DeLuca and John Jacobs. The script was then placed on the 2010 blacklist of best unproduced screenplays. In 2012, after Franco moved on from the role, it was briefly considered by Joaquin Phoenix, according to The Hollywood Reporter. In April of 2013, it was reported that after considering the role for about a year, Jim Carrey would star as Ricky Stanicky for Summit Entertainment, with Steve Odenkirk directing, Odenkirk rewriting the screenplay with Bushell and DeLuca and Jacobs producing. But once again, the project fell through. The project then once again was picked up in 2015, this time with Nicolas Cage in the lead role. Cage thought the role was an opportunity to remind viewers of his comedic attributes, but at that time international finances asked for action elements to be added, as it now would be sold as a Nicolas Cage movie. Their request was denied and the project stopped until 2021. Then only in September of 2022, it was reported that Peter Farrelly would direct Ricky Stanicky in early 2023, and he was in talks with Zac Efron and John Cena to star. The screenplay was written by Farrelly, Brian Jarvis and James L. Freeman, based on the original spec script by Bushell and Odenkirk. Then in February 2023, it was reported that Amazon had acquired worldwide rights to the film, which would now star Efron, Cena, and Jermaine Fowler. In all, it took 14 years for the film to finally get produced, initially being announced, of course, in 2010. Filming took place in Melbourne, Australia, in February and March of 2023, with Melbourne doubling for Providence, Rhode Island. The film received financial support from Australia's Location Incentive and Victorian Screen Incentive programs. The DJ set was performed by Mark Relibet. He's a DJ from New York City and has gone viral many times for his live sets in which he improvises songs with the help of a loop station by recording several instruments, tracks and vocals on the spot, often in response to an enthusiastic crowd. His performances have earned him the nickname Loop Daddy. Now, unfortunately, this is one of those films that probably should have remained on the blacklist. The mere fact that it took 14 years to produce this film astounds me, as really it is such a weak script and there's really not much to it. Maybe it would have been better with the likes of a Jim Carrey, a Joaquin Phoenix or a Nicolas Cage. But what we are given here is really just a very weak, dire comedy without very much to it. Look, the standout has to be, of course, John Cena. Without him, this film would have been a complete and utter flop. John Cena has superb comedic timing, and he's not afraid to make himself look silly or take the mickey out of himself. Most known for being a professional wrestler for many years with the WWE, Cena, of course, now has moved into the world of movies, but instead of slaying your atypical action hero star as most wrestlers do, he's now transitioned into comedy, and well, he's really good at it. And like I say, without John Cena's charming and hilarious performance, Ricky Stanicky would really be a most forgettable film. Cena plays Rock Hard Rod, an actor and impersonator who sings sex-based parodies of popular songs. This leads to one of the most hilarious parts in the film, with Cena dressed up in various garbs, most notably Alice Cooper, Billy Idol, and of course even Britney Spears, reinventing the lyrics to their most famous songs. Unfortunately though, that is where the comedy ends, as the film falls flat and really just becomes nothing, as it plods to a very predictable and happy conclusion. Zac Efron is so dull in this film, it looks like he lost complete interest halfway through. Efron for some reason has lost all of his charm and charisma that he had as an actor. Look, he was never one of the greatest actors going around, but there was something about him. And he was good at playing comedies, for example, like Bad Neighbors. But here, he's just a generic and bland shadow of his former charming self. And what can I say about his friends now? Andrew Santino as JT is absolutely awful. He's so unlikable, unbelievable, and untrustworthy. I don't know why anybody would ever want to be friends with him. And Jermaine Fowler as Wes is so bland, unfunny, and has no chemistry with the other two actors. You almost find it hard to believe that these three men could ever be friends. Having a cameo, from famous comedian Jeff Ross maybe adds a little aspect to the film. And what a wage casting William H. Macy here as Summer Hayes. It's such a waste of a role for such a fine screen actor. Look, I went into this film not really expecting much. I'm a big John Cena fan, and I love the way he's transitioned into being a comedic actor. And really, this whole film is a vehicle for John Cena to show off his talents, and without him though, frankly, this film would be an absolute dire mess. I was astounded to read that Peter Farrelly directed this. This is the man who, along with his brother, directed comedy classics like Dumb and Dumber, and There's Something About Mary, and on his own went on to direct winner of the Best Picture at the 2018 91st Academy Awards, namely Green Book. Look, Farrelly is known for making sort of crass comedies, and some of them definitely are hits or miss. But the mere fact that he transitioned into making more serious films like Green Book, you actually wonder why this project would interest him at all. Like I say, there are parts in the film that I did enjoy, and John Cena is definitely a highlight. But overall, this is a very bland, weak, predictable, and just frankly, dull comedy that just sort of goes nowhere. With its poor casting choices for the three main friends, strange choice by director Peter Farrelly, boring and very weak script, but saved by an excellent comedic performance from John Cena, Ricky Stanicky is definitely a film that probably should have stayed on the blacklist. Ricky Stanicky gets a 4.5 out of 10.